This week on You Should Be Watching, we talk about the new Star Trek series Strange New Worlds, and we tell you everything we know about Scream 5. And we also tell you why the Scream franchise is definitely worth rewatching. All that and more on You Should Be Watching. Hey everyone, and welcome back to You Should Be Watching. I'm joined today by Greg and Chris. Welcome back, Chris. Good to have you back on the show.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
And not only are you on our show this week, but you have a new podcast called Wrestle Buddies. Do you want to plug that really quick?
Absolutely. Wrestle Buddies is a weekly celebration of the best and silliest in wrestling with me and GameSpot entertainment news editor Matt Elfring. Mm-hmm. New episodes are every Thursday everywhere, and learn about RoboCop as a wrestler.
I love that. I love this very much. So yeah, thanks for joining us this week. We're going to be talking about Scream because all three of us love Scream so much. But before we jump into that, we have to start with what we usually start with, which is what's on your TV, and recommend things that we're currently watching outside of work. So Chris, let's start with you. What are you watching?
Okay, so I'm kind of split between two things right now. The first is the Chris Gethard Show, which it started as a public access talk show, and then it ended up on Fusion Television, which I guess is a network. And then it was on True TV for a while before it was ultimately canceled, but most of it's on YouTube. And it's a talk show that has no script and no plan. Everything that happens depends on what the people who call in say. And they managed to get some of like really, really big names on the show, including one episode, unannounced, Diddy shows up to surprise Chris Gethard and is just the guest / host for an hour of weird, wild live television.
So it just kind of goes off on a tangent?
Every episode goes off on so many tangents, and it's free. Like, it's out there on YouTube, and it's free.
What's the level of weird? When you say weird, are we talking?
Yeah, is this like Eric Andre? Like
Between Two Ferns? Which one is it? Yeah,
it actually can get Eric Andre weird. Eric Andre is on the show for a couple of episodes, and he's fantastic.
Love it.
They have Thanksgiving dinner with Gerard Carmichael for an episode. And, like, everything about it is nuts, and I love it so much. The other thing I'm watching is so many horror slasher movies.
Nice.
For work?
I don't know if you know this, but like the internet is full of slasher movies.
True crime and slasher movies.
Oh my gosh.
What are some of the highlights for you then?
I went back
do you recommend?
Went back and rewatched all of Friday the 13th. Manhattan is terrible. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yes.
He's in also, Manhattan for like 5 minutes.
He doesn't take Manhattan
for
a very long time.
Those
kids
teens
kept watching.
Those kids
for
are
Manhattan to be taken.
Yeah, those kids are alive way too long, even longer than a Final Destination movie. I hated that.
Bad movie.
It is Jason takes a boat and winds up, but also he takes a boat from Camp Crystal Lake and winds up in Manhattan.
Gotta keep it canon. We gotta keep it canon. We have to keep this franchise canon, damn it.
Geography.
But there are a lot of very weird, like, early 80s ones you've probably never heard of. I highly suggest a movie called Graduation Day that is just a track team is being stalked by a killer on Graduation Day.
Where can you stream that?
That, I believe, is on both Shudder and Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Bing.
Graduation Day. Got it. Greg, what are you watching?
I'm actually watching old Twilight Zone episodes. I know we're living in it right now, but I'm currently doing that at the moment as I also prep for other stuff while I'm watching a bunch of reality TV. I still can't get enough reality TV. I haven't gone down the whole of 90 Day Fiancé just yet, but it looks like I'm creeping up closer and closer to it. That day's coming. I don't know.
What are your reality picks at the moment? Because I could use some like bad reality TV.
Well, bad reality TV.
I'll tell you mine.
Married at First Sight, and then the Netflix. But if you want to stay current, but at the same time, if you want to stay current with everyone else as we're watching along at the same time, I would stick with something like Love Is Blind or even The Circle.
I prefer Love Is Blind and The Circle over like Too Hot to Handle. I couldn't get into that show.
Too Hot to Handle. Too Hot to Handle's great for the first, I think, like 3 episodes, and then it starts to taper off when they try to bring in storylines. Yeah, no.
I thought The Circle was a masterpiece. And
Circle's great.
And Love Is Blind. Love Is Blind is so weird and good because it's not what I thought it would be. I thought it was just the getting together aspect, and then so you're like, no, we're living with these people for months, and you're like, oh, okay.
You would love Married at First Sight. I think you would honestly. That's right up your alley. You should really give it a shot.
I agree. I have a group of friends that I watch Love Island UK with every week, and that's been a lot of fun for us. And it's a ton of episodes, too, so it took us forever to get through one season. But we started with season 3 because we heard it was a good season. And it's fantastic, but we have to watch with subtitles because there are so many different accents that it's really hard for us to keep up. But it's just so entertaining. It was way better than Too Hot to Handle. And so, in fact, we watched like all of season 3. Then we tried Too Hot to Handle to get like a change it up type of thing because we do a thing called Trash Night. And so we're like, this will be our new Trash Night show. Didn't quite work out. Couldn't get into the people on that show. So we switched back to Love Island. So now we're back on Love Island UK season 4.
What's the premise for Love Island?
So they take a group of people and they put them on an island, well, in a villa, living together. And they have to couple up at first. So just at first sight, they couple up. So they have all the women step up forward if they're interested in a guy, and then they all couple up, and then they throw one like random person who they didn't see into the mix, and they have to like try to steal someone, and then so they have to try to stay coupled, and there's just a lot of drama, and everyone gets too invested too quickly, and it's a lot of fun, but it's trash TV. Yeah, it's so much trash. I love it. But yeah, it's it's good. And there's not much, like there's depth there. Like they're all just talking about their types, and like they have fights over random things, and they don't really talk about much else besides their types and what they're wearing, and they're working out all the time. But it's just fascinating to me. It's super fun. But and also, speaking of reality shows, I watched Terrace House over the weekend. Again, this is the second time I've watched a season of Terrace House on Netflix, and that's just a completely different side of the coin in terms of reality television.
Everyone's so happy.
So wholesome.
Yes.
It's so wholesome.
I've never seen
either of you
an
watched
episode.
Terrace House?
No. But it's like a GameSpot team favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so many of us on GameSpot love this show. Actually, yeah, like so people on the GameSpot team got me into it, like Lucy and Tamor, and I think Callie has also seen it too, and so I started watching it, and I really loved the first season that I saw on Netflix. The first one that they have available is called Boys and Girls in the City, and that's probably the strongest season from what I hear. So this is the second season I've ever seen, and it's called Opening New Doors, and it's pretty good. I like it a lot, but yeah, it's just such a change in terms of reality TV because it's just so wholesome and everyone's so polite. And they're just like, to a fault, they're all polite. It's just also teaching me a lot about Japanese culture as well. So I'm really fascinated by it, and I like it a lot.
Reality TV with polite people sounds bizarre.
I know. It's
like
strange.
I feel like I could use something like that, though.
Yes, yeah. So it's like, it scratches that itch to like watch that situation of people being put together in a house and living amongst each other, but it takes away all of the typical like Jersey Shore type drama you're used to. So it's fun. I like it.
Right. I just know Lauren's Eye was on Aloha. That's the only season I watched, I think. Just that was it. I just remember her on that, and then everything she did on Legion. Now she's flying off to do other incredible things at this point, so I can't wait to see where she goes. So bring it on. More seasons.
All right, the next segment is This Just In. This is where we talk about some of the biggest stories in entertainment in the last week. So first, this one's definitely for me and Greg because we've been covering Star Trek here on Universe. But there's a new Star Trek show, and it's titled Strange New Worlds, and it's happening, and it's focusing on some of our favorite characters from Discovery Season 2, Christopher Pike, Mr. Spock, and Number One. So Captain Pike and crew are going to be taking off on their own journey. I'm really excited. Greg, how do you feel?
If I'm brutally honest with you, this is like the only show I'm going to care about, honestly, in the future, but we'll see. I'm giving out all hope to Discovery for Season 3. There's something, please. I have high hopes for Season 3 here for Discovery, but with the news of Strange New Worlds, and everyone knew that it was coming any day now. Back at Comic-Con last year when we talked to the cast, we just kept thinking, like, come on, there's a spinoff in the works. We all know it. Just announce it. They didn't do it yet.
Yeah.
We knew it was coming. And finally we get, and I love the title, Strange New Worlds. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love
it's
that.
so good. And it looks like, yes, it's going to be straight up just what we all thought it was going to be at the very beginning, just episodic episodes from beginning to end. And they have 10 years to work with this cast. So bring it on.
I'm
couldn't
pretty
be
stoked
happier.
about that. Chris, are you excited about the show at all?
I am honestly more so than maybe all the other Star Trek shows, because like that's what that's what Star Trek is. Every week is sort of a new adventure. So like that's awesome. And I loved Picard, and I'm excited for more Picard. But like this is the Star Trek I've been kind of waiting on. Overarching stories are great, but like also just give me some side stories.
Yeah. I think someone looked over and saw what Seth MacFarlane was doing with the Orville, and were like, you know what? Let's put a stop to this. Someone raised their hand and finally said, let's please do one episodic series. We're giving out spin-offs like candy. They still have Section 31. I have no clue what's going to happen at the end.
I don't know what step of the process they are in for Section 31.
That
was the biggest question.
It seems
mark.
like they've taken a pause on that, but Discovery seems like they're still going on. But the line of events here from Discovery Season 1, fans were thrilled with it. So they bring in Captain Pike and the Enterprise at the very end. They made some changes halfway through the mid-season for Season 1. And now those changes are playing out all the way through Season 2. And they just beamed out the entire cast of Season 2 of Discovery to a completely different timeline and canon and let them handle their own thing. So I just want this show to continue, too. I hope they finish it. But I just don't want them to go, all right, that's enough. And now let's move on to Strange New Worlds. I can't imagine them doing that, but I'm just curious. I wonder where are they going now with Discovery? That's the second thing I thought of. First, when I heard of Strange New Worlds, hell yeah. Second was, what's going to happen to Discovery, guys?
Right. That's a fair question.
Yeah.
But, they'll have 3 seasons in the can. That's not bad.
True.
I'm just really, really excited about this show, and I feel like a lot of fans are, like you both said. And there were petitions to bring Anson Mount back, and he's on board. Rebecca Romijn and Ethan Peck are both
Great
back.
cast.
And they were, all 3 of them were fantastic in Discovery Season 2. So they've already got this good rapport and good chemistry, so I feel like that's going to really take off right from the get-go. So I'm very excited about that. But full season order. It's going to be on CBS All Access a decade before the original Star Trek series, and should be great. Cool. All right, next story we have is for Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 2 is adding Timothy Olyphant. We are very big fans of him on this show regularly. Chris, you have mixed feelings, but Greg and Ryan and I are huge Olyphant fans. We love him.
He's okay. I'll tell you what.
We love him.
He's really
we love
good.
Him.
He's really good as the jerk cop in Gone in 60 Seconds. I'll say that much.
He's so underrated. He's
so many things.
He's the GOAT of I can't. All right. I'll calm down.
He's fantastic.
He's great.
Fantastic.
He's great.
He's the best part of Santa Clarita Diet for sure. Like he's so funny.
Respect for Drew Barrymore. Come on.
She's great too. I mean, come on.
I respect her too.
He's got acting chops.
Very funny. Yeah. Anyway, so he was on Deadwood and Justified, and he's the latest name to be reported in joinings. We still don't know who he's playing or any details around that, but we know that filming has wrapped, and there's been plenty of reports for new additions, but some of them are still to be confirmed, but I feel like they are happening. Chris, you wrote this news story, so which ones do you think are actually sticking?
I think honestly, the fact that it's wrapped and it's done, and that these are being reported, I think
that's
they're all
shock.
true.
Okay.
Right. That like they're all definitely happening, and I'm of two minds on it. Like, yes, Timothy Olyphant's fine. There's a lot of really good people coming onto the show this season, but what I love so much about season 1 of Mando was it's not deeply vested in the Skywalker saga. They brought in the Darksaber at the end, but for the most part, it was just kind of its own thing. That was it wasn't all about like, ooh, look, Boba Fett. Ooh, look, Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Ahsoka Tano.
I'm so excited for a live action Ahsoka. Oh my god.
But like I have
so cool.
I have a very bad feeling we're just treading into like how many more known Star Wars characters can we plug into this show?
All of them. All of them.
I don't want that.
The cynic says all of them make as much money as possible. Sell. Put them all in
There's
there.
like 13 billion hours of Skywalkers like invading the galaxy. Like, we don't need more.
I think they'll keep it. I have a feeling,
fair.
but as long as Favreau's there, I have hope that they're going to try to keep this franchise on the level playing field where it is, where they don't keep adding every new name, figuring out a way to get Baby Yoda and older Yoda together. I hope. No. Don't do that.
Don't do
I'm just saying, don't do it, please. But with that said, I just keep it the way it is and let it go down its track record. Or just, again, it's a guy in a mask and he's just showing up to, take care of some bounty hunting, and then that's it. And he goes home. That's it. End of the episode. Move on.
Well, and also, as I feel like we kind of figured out towards the end of season 1 of Mandalorian, is nobody sticks around for very long. People kind of pop in and out for episodes because that's just
that's
not
great.
The show it is.
Yeah.
Right.
It like Strange New Worlds is a episodic series where it's just like, where are Mando and Baby Yoda going this week? And that's fun.
Totally fine.
Yeah, that is fun. That's what
there.
I liked about season 1. But yeah, I'm super stoked about the possibility of Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I think that is the coolest thing ever. How do you guys feel about Tamora Morrison returning this time as Boba Fett?
We just brought that up earlier, saying, hey, we're worried about bringing in every other character. Just, again, I heard news about Anakin's show. There's all these rumors of old cast members returning. Please, no.
Come
I don't want any
on,
of it.
Hayden Christensen.
No.
I think Anakin was the rumor for Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Not for Mando.
No, not Mando.
That's too much.
Given that this show is The Mandalorian, it makes sense to bring in The Mandalorian. I
Yes.
guess.
Yes.
But I also don't expect him to be like a major character in the show. Like, it just don't bring in so many legacy characters that they drown out the cool new people. I want more Gina Carano. I want more of the little pig guy. That's what I want.
Yeah, it's a good show. All right, on to the next story, which is a segue into our main segment. So we've got Scream 5, and it's bringing back original cast member David Arquette. He's going to be back as Dewey Riley. So we're getting to Scream 5, guys. I'm very excited. It's going to be directed by the Ready or Not directing duo of Matthew Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillette. And they were going to helm the next installment. We don't know too much about it right now, but we know that it's the first one that's not going to be directed by Wes Craven, who passed in 2015. But David Arquette is the first confirmed member of the cast. They're kind of like in talks and negotiations with Neve Campbell, but that's not set in stone yet. What do you guys think? Is she going to return? Probably.
Of course. Like,
Yeah, the money's right, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if they do not back a money truck up to Neve Campbell, they're going about this all wrong. Because Sidney Prescott is Scream. You can't have until you kill her, which could happen. You can't do one of these movies without her.
I hope they don't.
They
kill
could,
her.
but it is what it is. If the money's a little too high, she could show up to set one day and it could be a thing where, okay, so Nev, you're going to turn around and then we're just going to stab right here and then cut and you head on out. So that could happen too. But with that said, I think they're going to bring her back. It looks like they're going to bring the whole the OG cast is coming back at least one more time. Yeah. I hope it's not the last time.
They'd better bring back Courtney Cox. I need Gale Weathers in my life.
They better.
Yeah.
I think they could. They could get her.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what's going on in her personal life between the two of them, but
I mean,
they could.
We'll see. I know.
They might make it happen.
They made Scream 4 after they split up, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Also,
that's true.
David Arquette's a pro wrestler now. He could powerbomb Ghostface.
Oh no.
I would love to see
that.
No.
He's the guy you want around.
When did that happen?
When did he turn pro wrestler?
Yeah.
Well,
decades
Chastity.
ago. That's a long story. Wait, nope. That is a long story, Chastity.
As you will eventually learn on Wrestle Buddies, he was a WCW champion in the 90s.
Wow.
But no, it was a terrible stunt gone horribly wrong.
And destroyed a company, and a lot of people got fired. But yeah, let's move on.
But he is like in the past few years, he is like turned hard toward wrestling. He went to school and trained, and he actually does a lot of independent shows. Or he did before we all couldn't go outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we get him on Wrestle Buddies?
Probably.
If you think I'm not going to try for that, you're out of your mind. Of course.
Please. That'd be amazing. So in terms of writing, the series screenwriter Kevin Williamson is returning as an executive producer and handing off the writing to James Vanderbilt, who did Zodiac, and Guy Busick, who did Ready or Not. So
Good luck, guys.
yeah, the Williamson written ones are definitely the stronger ones, like that was 1, 2, and 4. But 3 was still all right.
I love 3.
But I really
think
prefer
3
it when
is-
it's written by Williamson.
I agree. I do think
Mm-hmm.
3 is very underappreciated. It's such a fun, like, just satire on all the garbage that is Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And plus Parker Posey's in it, and she's amazing.
She is great.
But yeah, I understand handing the reins over to someone new. I think it's probably smart, but I'm glad he's at least going to be there to guide, because
Agreed.
he needs to be.
Yeah.
He absolutely needs to be. Like, he's so instrumental in the magic of what makes this so good, which we will talk about next. But before we jump into...
it's still tough without Craven, so let's just get that out
Yeah.
of the way.
Well, and
first
that,
of all.
That's true. That is true,
And that's
yeah.
the thing. I think that is what is most important about having the sort of legacy cast and crew involved in the new one. Is
Yep.
like, no one is going to
Mm-hmm.
be more protective of Wes Craven's legacy with these movies
Than
than
that
the
cast.
people that were with him since the jump.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Very true. So with that said, what are your hopes for this new movie? What kind of... Is this a reboot? Is this a sequel? What do you want out of this?
The fun thing with this franchise, again, there aren't two roads here where you have to do the, expectations, subvert expectations, and the other road of trying to stay true to the franchise. When you look at the screenplay, you have a vast world to go with here. You don't have to do any of that. You can do whatever the hell you want, but at the same time, keep in mind that just keep it in canon. I don't care. Just please, just keep it canon. You can do whatever you want with this franchise. They may even go the route. Who knows? What is it? Okay, we just talked about Halloween for Resurrection. They may go that route with Neve Campbell. I hope not, but if they do, it's okay. Look, you can do
They
it.
better cast Busta Rhymes.
And then they can bring her. Yes, cast Busta Rhymes, kill Neve Campbell, and then bring her somehow back for number 6. It's fine. You can do whatever you want.
That would be a reference. They could do that.
Keep it
'cause
inspired.
It would be a reference.
It would.
Chris, what do you think? What are your hopes for 5?
Neve Campbell is Ghostface, baby. Bring it on.
No, don't. Okay.
No, I think it would be wise of them to introduce a new leading female that can carry on in future movies. I don't think that means you have to kill off Sydney. I think
Not at all.
I think she could just sort of pass the torch to whoever the new Sydney is, and that could be great. Matthew Lillard said in an interview that he wants to come back. Don't know how that would work.
It would work. It can work. All of that
He's
could
dead.
work. No,
Like, well,
They could bring him back
twins.
somehow.
Twins.
Well,
Literally,
evidently there was
Twins.
the original
Twins.
plan for 3 was he was secretly alive the whole time, pulling the strings from jail, which sounds terrible.
That sounds
but-
ridiculous.
That's horrible.
But like, I'm
He's
okay.
like a teenager. Yeah. He's not that smart.
No, that's the thing.
Wow.
He was the dumb guy in Scream, and now he's a mastermind.
damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think he was uncredited for like a cameo in each one of the Scream films too.
I think so. Yeah,
he's been in
Yes.
all of them technically.
I
so
think
they
he's
could
like
just
guy at the party.
bring him back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like have him. I feel like they should go overboard with it and just have him be multiple cameos in the movie.
I
and
think-
just own up to that. But I don't think he should be his original character. But a twin would be okay. Or a cousin or something.
Speaking of twins and the new girl, if you want to bring in like a new final girl to this franchise, I would just bring back, honestly, Emma Roberts. Bring her back as a new character. It's that simple. And then Neve Campbell could be around. They can make a joke about how Neve Campbell's just about to die.
Emma Roberts is great.
They're dangling Neve Campbell's life and the rest of the cast, Dewey, everyone else. They're dangling their lives, but they don't actually kill them off, and they just let them go off into the sunset, Frodo style or something. You don't got to kill them off, but we'll see. I
Well,
feel like, don't go for it.
In this instance, then, do they just acknowledge the fact that Emma Roberts looks like the killer from the last movie, or no?
Yes,
Because
you
they
have
could
to
just
acknowledge
pretend it
They
didn't
could.
happen.
No, her twin sister did it all.
Ooh.
And she's trying to just live her life, out of the spotlight of what her twin
She's the
sister
good
did.
twin.
She's the good
The
one.
good twin.
Yes.
Well, then, you know what? For that, then, I also want Hayden Panettiere to play her character's sister in the movie.
Kirby?
Kirby, because no joke,
Kirby's
Kirby might
back?
be the best character in that movie.
Kirby rocks.
She's great. Yeah. Okay, I could buy into this, but now I'm starting to see the screenplay fall apart here with the producers saying, okay, how many twins are we bringing back?
This is why they don't let us make movies.
Let's talk
correct.
about the directors. So I really loved Ready or Not. I thought that was a fantastic movie. So I feel like it's in capable hands. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, I agree. It was a fantastic movie, and it was just a different sort of idea. It was new. It felt original, and it was everything about it was great. Like, I love that. That was such a fun movie theater experience.
Two words there. You said they're new and original. They're heading off now to a franchise with a rabid fan base and producers who are telling them you got to stick in this box. So I good luck, guys. I wish them the best. I hope their visions get out there, but we'll see. It's going to take some time.
All right, on to the next segment, which is You Should Be Watching. So that news story is a segue directly to now, because we're going to be talking about why the Scream movies are so great and why you should rewatch them immediately. So that's the first question. So Chris, what makes this series so great?
I mean, they brought slashers back to life. And that for me, like, as such a fan of the genre, like, that for me is enough. But like they're so good and they're smart, and the way they take what Wes Craven started doing in Wes Craven's New Nightmare to like a whole other level, and just in terms of like meta commentary on the genre. And and who doesn't love Nev Campbell? What monster?
What kind of monster? Greg, anything to add to that? Why do you like these movies so much?
Well, pretty much the same. And the cast has always been damn great. Every single, even Timothy Olyphant has made an appearance in Scream 2. Okay,
The Mandalorian star, Timothy Olyphant?
Absolutely. He's amazing.
He's actually
He's
really good in Scream 2.
He's good in Scream 2. Scream
Thank
2 is
you.
excellent. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's so meta. It's a lot of fun, and it just started this really great time during the 90s where we got a lot of fun teen horror flicks that I just ate up, and I just loved all of them. Like, we got I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, all these things just like completely I got so into at that age, and I love watching them now too. Like, they're fun to go back to watching, but Scream is still
Scream
the cream of the crop.
Yeah,
the cream of the crop. Yeah.
It's,
So that leads me to the next question, which is, which one is the best? It's the first one, obviously, I think.
I think,
But I know
honestly,
they're all near and dear to you.
There are three. There are three that really you can they're interchangeable. Three of them. Number 1, 2, and 4.
2 and 4. Yeah.
There's just a whole lot of unfortunate hate, I feel, that is being thrown at Scream 3, which is a fantastic movie. I think, for me, I might say 2 is best. I love the way they wrapped around Billy's mom.
Nev Campbell's performance is amazing.
It was good.
Oh my God, Nev Campbell's performance. The only thing I hate about Scream 2 is Jerry O'Connell doing the Top Gun song.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
like-
was out of nowhere too. Like, I was watching it in my living room yesterday, and my boyfriend just turns around. And he's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "I swear it's good."
Every time that
You came in
pops
at a
up,
really bad
I
time.
mute my television because I just
It's not the worst.
It's not. It's just so
terrible.
random.
It doesn't make sense. Also, he's not that boyfriend, Greg.
No,
He's
he's
subdued.
he's hey.
Yeah. But
And we
Scream
saw how
2
it
is-
ended for him. So
Yeah. Scream 2 is a very close second for me. It's like right there with Scream 1. I love it so much. But yeah, just rewatching it yesterday made me realize, like, this is a solid sequel, and that's so rare.
Also,
But, like, a direct follow-up. And
Nev
it was
Campbell's-
like less than a year later that it came out,
yeah, they
Yeah.
which is pretty
completely
impressive.
right after they knew where they wanted to go with this franchise, and they just said, okay, we're going to take the final girl trope of the 80s and we're going to completely flip it this time. We're going to have the character know exactly what's happening, know where the killer's going to be, and then make the next move, try to be a step ahead. And Nev was incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
so good.
But yeah, we also mentioned Scream 4. So Chris, why is Scream 4 so good?
Scream 4 came along in the post slasher era, which is so it's so nuts that, like, we'd gotten to the point of where it was movies like Saw was the new sort of horror thing, and suddenly Scream 4 comes back and just kind of goes back to the classic slasher and what works, except it's for a whole new generation. And some of it immediately felt outdated, like the kid who's like live casting his everything, where he just has
the
a
live
camera
stream
strapped
kid.
to his head. Like, none of like that to me. I was like, okay, that doesn't belong here. But it made for some funny moments in the movie, And but no, everything about it's great. Like as you mentioned before, Greg, Emma Roberts is incredible.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
When you give her a role, she'll go off on it. I know we always see her on AHS, and she's done some other projects that, hey, gotta eat, so you can do what you gotta do. But with that said, she's a great performer. So slasher is her lane, and give it to her. That's just let her do what she wants. I really think that she can go off on this franchise.
She's very good in that genre for sure. So that kind of leads to who are some of your favorite characters. So I think we all have one in common, which is Cotton Weary, of course.
Yeah, buddy.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Cotton Weary.
100% in Cotton.
I'm still like,
what do you guys love about him?
Like honestly, my biggest regret about this franchise is that he's dead. Like, so he's just like they shouldn't.
Yeah, he's dead. They can't bring him back. I think that's it.
Well,
yeah.
and I love what they did in sort of turning the franchise on its head by having him be like the celebrity that's killed off at the beginning of the third movie.
That's the best and only. That's the only part I really like about that entire movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. For the third one.
Wow.
That scene, and then you can. I'm sorry, everybody, but that's the best part.
Parker Posey will remember this, Greg.
Sorry, Parker. I'm so sorry.
She's great, but I do agree that 3 is the weakest of the movies. But I love 1, 2, and 4. But that's fine. I don't hate 3. I don't hate 3.
But the beauty of Cotton is like how he goes on such a weird roller coaster throughout the franchise, where like you're sure he's a villain in the first one, and then he's just
you're not sure during most of 2.
No, and then he's kind of like a lot of 2 he comes across almost like a lovable loser. He's like, I just want like my life went through hell. Just someone pay attention to me, please.
Man, they really fleshed him out in the second one. God, which made the payoff for killing him in the third one great. So it's a great opening. I just wish they really just stuck the landing on that one. They couldn't.
Why are you doing this to me?
Every time. I'm sorry. I just gotta come back to it. But hey, it's not that bad. I will not remove it from the franchise. It's still a great. It's a film. Okay, I'll stop. Let me stop. Let me shut up.
Patrick Warburton's in this movie, Greg.
Also, shout out to Randy. Died too soon.
Randy's so
gone
good.
too soon. Randy's so good, but he was like the meta character. He was the one showing everyone what the point of this movie was and why they were making this movie. They were shining a light on all the slasher tropes, and I think that's a really fun character. And yeah, it kind of sucked how he died in 2, but I see why they had to.
They're gonna bring back. I feel like again they may bring back a few Randys for the 5th one. I can see that already. They're gonna have like 5 or 6 Randys because of again you have the Stab franchise, so you can have them being doing a breakdown of Easter eggs and whatever for the Stab franchise, and those characters go out. They gotta play on that trope. I have a feeling that's the fun part about this is they can continue to go off on the slasher franchise just from what they live in right now with all the breakdowns and crap we're doing today.
Well, and lest we forget, Randy, even though he was killed off in 2, still made an appearance in 3 via video cassette tape.
Yep.
That's right.
Bring him back. I don't know how they'll do it in the 5th one, but sure, bring it.
Have his sister show up and be like, oh, guys, I found another tape.
And then it's just, they're trying to de-age Jamie Kennedy.
In this one, he's telling you what to do if you're being chased by a serial killer in your 40s.
Wow. Wow.
The most expensive element of Scream 5 is the de-aging tech of Jamie Kennedy. Oh, that'd be really funny. You mentioned Parker Posey in Scream 3. She was fantastic. What do you love about her?
I just love that. Like, that character, she veers back and forth between just sort of awful, like stereotypical awful actress and like, I'm trying to get inside the mind of Gale Weathers. And I'm like, oh, there is no mind of Gale Weathers. Just like, that's the beauty of Gale Weathers is there isn't necessarily there's not a ton of below the surface. She comes at you straight. She's like, this is who I am. This is what I care about. Done.
Yeah.
And watching Parker Posey and Courtney Cox play off each other in that movie, I loved it.
Juicy. Someone also wrote Billy Loomis on the list of favorite characters.
Billy
was good.
I wrote that because I love Skeet Ulrich, and that was his movie. Like he
was.
It's iconic. That scene is iconic for forever and ever.
That twist is iconic. Yeah.
And
like him revealing the twist is so good. Oh, love it.
Oh, such a good villain, and he was paired with like the perfect dumb sidekick. Like
yes,
it's wonderful.
Cool. All right, so on to favorite cameos, which is kind of related, but I wanted to go through some of the really fun ones. So if you haven't rewatched recently, you probably forgot all about most of these. Obviously, the ultimate cameo was the bait and switch of Drew Barrymore, who was on all of the marketing for Scream 1.
She was the front and center of every poster.
The trailer, the poster, everything. People were like, oh, wow, this is going to be a great Drew Barrymore movie. Bait and switched right off the top. I think that was a brilliant move. I still can't get over that.
It's so well done. And it still gets me to this day when the phone rings and the camera opens up on her making popcorn at her house. Like, it's so good.
So good. Another one from Scream, Henry Winkler as the principal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a good one.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't he get strung up on the football goalpost at the end of the movie, or so we hear? That's why all the kids leave the party.
Yeah, I forgot, but maybe I remember his death scene. And then Wes Craven was the janitor in Scream.
Yeah.
So, in case you missed that one.
So good.
Scream 2, I want to shout out to Joshua Jackson, who is basically playing and dressed as Pacey Witter in Randy's film class. When I was rewatching this yesterday, I'm like, that's his Pacey. That's Pacey in college. And I love that so much, which is... it makes sense because Kevin Williamson wrote that character as well. He wrote Dawson's Creek, and so... it was kind of like he was testing it, because this came out a year before Dawson's Creek. So I'm just getting into the weeds with Dawson's Creek here, but I love Dawson's Creek. And I love Joshua Jackson.
And then ultimately it didn't work because Pacey did not go to college.
No.
He became like a chef and like a stockbroker and like a sailor. Yeah.
I forgot about the stockbroker thing.
He became everything but a college student.
This is very upsetting. But anyway, he loved film. But yeah, it was definitely Pacey in that class. It was like a parallel universe Pacey. And then I really liked Portia de Rossi, who was playing like the typical sorority sister, but she like hammed it up and she was so good. It was her and Rebecca Gayheart, who was later in Urban Legends like a year later. But
and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes.
Yep.
It's tough to see her as a victim, though. It's tough to watch that.
But what a great sorority that enlists Rebecca Gayheart, Portia de Rossi, and Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like, who wouldn't want to join that house?
Also in the sorority, I noticed the actress who plays Hermione Lodge on Riverdale was also in that sorority, so random, but I just wanted to shout that out.
Very random.
Yeah, very random. But
great sorority.
But my favorite cameo, I think, in Scream 2 was when Tori Spelling and Luke Wilson do the one scene from Stab. And then he, like, ends it where he, like, hits his head like that.
Do you know
it's so funny.
Do you know the secret history behind who directed that?
Wait, no.
Robert Rodriguez.
Really?
Robert Rodriguez directed the Stab footage in Scream 2. I don't know why. I don't remember why, but it's so weird. And then, it looks like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
That's great. That's fantastic. So he did the stuff from the opening scene as well? So all of that is all Robert Rodriguez?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
And
then they rewatched that in Scream 4. Wow. This series, guys. So much fun. I also want to add a note that apparently Jay and Silent Bob are actual people in the Scream universe.
That's
because they made a cameo in Scream 3.
Yeah, in Scream 3.
Same universe.
And it actually sort of lines up with, weirdly, the Jay and Silent Bob timeline. Because while Scream 3 was happening, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was happening, and that's when they go to Hollywood.
Right.
So
does make sense that they would be on a movie lot. Okay.
And as I will always laugh when I hear Jay call Gale Weathers Connie Chung.
Good stuff. And then, the opening of Scream 4, where we have a meta opening inside a meta opening inside a meta opening. And it's really good. And they just get a ton of like young actresses that you've seen before. And the best one was definitely Anna Paquin and Kristen Bell, where she's like, you talk too much. She just stabs her in the stomach.
Kristen Bell stabbing Anna Paquin in the stomach is such a mood.
It is. Do you guys have any favorite moments or best kills from the series?
Yes, it is from the first one when Tatum gets broken in half by the garage door. And that
one got me good.
It's such a horrifying moment. It looks disturbing. I feel like it could happen. and that creeps me out. They should not build garage doors like that.
It's ingrained in my head. I can't get that out of my head. Just her up there looking like, ooh, halfway through it. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This wasn't the scariest one, but when I think of Scream 4, the kill that I think of is when the two cops that are watching the house get killed. And so like they're just like joking, and then all of a sudden Adam Brody gets shanked, and then immediately, without like a second's notice, like Anthony Anderson just right through the head. And then he's like stumbling around, and then he falls down and goes, F Bruce Willis.
He's right.
Oh, I can't.
Incredible.
Jada Pinkett in Scream.
Yes.
I can't.
Jada
That's
Pinkett in 2.
She's got a great scream to kick off the beginning of the film, and also I think, oh God, I always get it confused with 3 and 2, where the spike goes through the guy's head driving the car. Was that in? I think the pole goes through the head, and that was in.
That's in
I think
2.
It was 3.
That's 2.
Is it 2?
No, that's 2.
That's the cop.
2.
Yeah.
When-
That's one of the detectives in 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oof.
There's. How is he going to kill? How is this Ghostface going to kill more people and that's
Who knows?
That's the kind of thing that's the thing I love about slashers in general, but Scream especially, because like, yes, there's always going to be just the quick like stab kills, but there's also going to be something ridiculous and elaborate that you're just, it doesn't make sense, but it makes all of the sense.
It's all
Exactly. So it's like, do they add more kills? Do they just make them more over the top? Like, where do they go for the 5th one? Like, what shocks us?
good. Stab. That's really what's gonna happen here. Honestly, it's the Ghostface killer. What is he gonna do? He doesn't have any magical powers. I don't think they're gonna change the franchise that much.
No.
I don't think he's running people over with cars. He won't have a gun. I think it's just going to be just finding different weapons he can stab people with around the house. That's it.
He blew up a house in fan favorite in this room, part 3.
That's
He
true.
sure did. He did.
That's
I don't think they're going to do that again. I really think they're going to. Oh.
1 or 2 killers. Do you think we should go back to the 2?
Oh, good question.
Do you enjoy guessing while you're watching the film for the first time?
I definitely love guessing. Like,
Same.
I remember when the turn happened with Emma Roberts in 4. Like, I was like, no way. Like, that's impossible. Like, I spent the entire movie assuming it was Kirby, Hayden Panettiere's character. I was like, Herbie's definitely a killer. She's working with the kid with the camera on the side of his head, because that's so obvious. And then I was wrong on both accounts.
Yeah, I wasn't sure who it would be, but I remember being surprised by that turn.
Too bad Knives Out already happened, because they could have done Knives Out for the Scream franchise for 5 with the whodunit killer aspect to it. Now, I don't know where they're going to go. I hope it's not like 8 or 6 killers, just a one after another. Hopefully, it will just be one, and not Nev Campbell, and it won't be Sid. Please, not Sid.
No, please no. So do you think this is a franchise that can just keep going and reinventing itself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It reinvented itself as a bad television show, which it should not do that again.
No.
But
oh yeah. Yeah, can you speak to that? How much of the TV show have you seen?
I watched, I think, the first 2 seasons against
A lot
like,
more than I watched, yeah.
you're better off
And
for
how
it.
was that?
It's not Scream. Like, that's the thing I'll say about it. It's not bad, but it's not Scream. They don't have the rights to the Ghostface mask, so it looks weird. And as much as, yes, we all agree that, like, Sydney is Scream, not having characters like that, not having characters like Dewey around is very bizarre in this setting, because we're so used to it. But I think they could use that to their advantage in 5, and again, use those characters to just bring in some fresh blood. That's all.
Yep. Literally.
Give me someone.
A lot of blood.
Yeah. Oh, God. So much fresh blood. A shocking amount.
Trucks and trucks of fresh blood, please. There will be blood in this film, I hope.
All right, so that wraps up this episode of You Should Be Watching. So, Chris, tell us where we can find Wrestle Buddies.
Wrestle Buddies, new episodes every Thursday on, I think, every podcast platform. And if you don't have a podcast platform of choice, just episodes will be on GameSpot.com.
Sweet. So if you love wrestling, be sure to check it out. Also, if you want to talk to us and leave us some questions or comments about this episode or this show, reach out to us at ysbw@gamespot.com. That's ysbw@gamespot.com. And you can listen to this very podcast if you're watching it right now. We're on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. And you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Chastity_V. Greg?
I'm at Greg Spot Thomas.
And Chris?
At Chris Hayner.
Great. Well, thanks for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.